Some games release and are great. Some games get hyped up to the max and are mainstream supergiants. Sometimes, however, a dark horse comes along out of nowhere and puts the pressure on Spider-Man 2 and Starfield as a true contender for Game of the Year. Final Fantasy XVI is a game I paid no attention to. Bought it because I simply needed a new game. The second the game began, I knew this will be good. Then I accepted the truth and I realised it was one of the most epic games I've ever played. This review will be non-spoiler until the end of the video, where I want to talk about a few moments that I loved. I will mention it to give you time to escape. Before I continue, it would mean a massive amount if you gave this video a like. Liking helps YouTube share the video to new people, and it helps my wee channel out massively. Thank you. Final Fantasy XVI is a game where you play as Clive Rosfield, a young lad who is tasked with protecting his brother Joshua, who is the heir to the throne because he has the power of the Phoenix. It is an epic story that follows Clive as he changes and develops over the course of the game. This is a true PS5 game, built for the PS5. There's no holding back. The graphics and the detail in the landscape looks photorealistic at times, especially walking through the desert. The ground is the closest to photorealistic I've seen in any game. There were times I literally stopped just to look at the detail in the sand and in the countryside. The colours and the lights in this game is next level. The magic spells that you can pull off, especially in the boss fights, are like nothing I've ever seen in a game. Graphically, this is the best game I've played in that sense. There's so much on screen at any time in the boss fights, and it's truly phenomenal. The music in this game is one of the most phenomenal musical scores in gaming / movies / anything. It goes from one piano playing to what feels like 1,000 instruments playing in one orchestra. There's one that plays at a certain moment, and it's one of the most gargantuan, heart-stopping moments I've ever experienced in any game. I'll tell you what it is in the spoiler section. The combat to this game gets better and better and better the further through the game you get. It's fast and absolutely glorious and satisfying to play, and it takes absolutely ages to kill anything in this game, so the fights last a really long time, and that is absolutely a good thing for me. It's not that the fights are difficult, it's just you get longer to just button mash and pull off unbelievable combos. It is an action game through and through. When you kill something, it often does this slow motion effect and it says enemy slain, and it's one of the most satisfying things you could possibly do in a game. I love the characters in Final Fantasy XVI. I love the acting even more. It's proper film actors performing as these characters, and they speak like they do in Lord of the Rings or something, and not the TV show, like the films. Clive is great. How much he changes throughout the game is astounding. The challenges he faces, from his enemies to his inner turmoils, you really care about him and his journey. The other characters you meet are phenomenal as well. If you watch my recent reviews of Mass Effect and The Witcher, I mention how good the romances are in them. Well, guess what? There's a new one, and it's my favourite of the 3 games. Why? Because it's like movie quality dialogue and acting, and it feels completely real, and it really is the heart and soul of the story. Jill is the name, and that story is absolutely incredible. Time to talk about the mic drop for Final Fantasy XVI. What can a boss fight look like if it was beefed up and designed specifically for the PS5? Now we're seeing the true potential in the PlayStation 5 being utilised. The boss fights in this game are some of the greatest boss fights in gaming history. On a technical level, they are the best I've ever played. A few of them go on for over 30 minutes and are jaw-droppingly awesome. And when you think the gameplay alone is enough, that's when the soundtrack comes in and cranks the fights up to 11. There are moments when the game slows the pacing and action right down, and it turns into a fetch quest for moments, but it only adds contrast for me. Also, after 30-minute boss fights with big energy beams and numbers flying all over the screen, I enjoyed those moments as it allowed me to catch my breath and calm me down a little bit from the half an hour of smashing buttons as fast as I could. In the end, Final Fantasy XVI is a truly special experience. It came out of nowhere and blew me away with next level graphics and boss fights, phenomenal acting, great characters, a wonderful storyline, and is easily a contender for my Game of the Year. That is why I am giving Final Fantasy XVI a 10 out of 10 from me. Now, it's the spoiler section. If you haven't played Final Fantasy XVI and don't want to hear some spoilers, give us a like and subscribe for more videos of mine, and I'd advise to click away now before I ruin it for you. Okay? First things first. The accept the truth moment is hands down one of the greatest moments in any game I've ever played in my life. That was truly incredible. The way the soundtrack comes in and the payoff that you get watching Clive let go of his guilt and accepting who he truly is was astonishing. Also, I know nothing about Final Fantasy. I proper geeked out when I realised that Clive was the freak and I was going to play as a giant monster in a big kaiju fight out of nowhere. I was ecstatic, I felt like a kid again. Every scene with Jill and Clive was just so well performed. Even Mass Effect or The Witcher 3 didn't have me as captivated in a scene. There's so much symbolism in these scenes and the game, so much thought went into it, and the acting was dead real. It felt natural. You believed Clive and Jill had known each other for years. The scene where they say goodbye to each other for the last time before Clive goes to battle Ultima is just so emotional, and they truly were the heart and soul of the story. Now, the ending. Do I think Clive is dead? You can make the argument that he is dead or alive, and that is the beauty of the ending. In my heart of hearts, I believe Clive returned home. Everything is so negative with Jill crying her heart out, but right at the end, the sun comes up and she stops crying, and the music right then ends on a very positive note. There is a side quest where Jill says, no matter how terrible the night, dawn would always come. That's you would always come, for me. And then the dawn arrives, the music sounds all happy, Jill starts looking happy. Why?
He's not dead! No!
He promised he'll come back to her right at the end. So, after Mass Effect giving me a sad ending, I'm not having another one 2 weeks later. Screw that. Clive's alive in my head. End of story. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe for more gaming reviews in the future. Cheerio.